I'll try this again. Okay, I've had to restart this again, so I hope it's working this time. So g'day once again. Just turn down that music a bit so I can concentrate. Okay, here we go. This is the MD-80, of course, with the Alaskan livery, and we're currently sitting at Juneau Airport, Alaska. ICA code is Papa Alpha Juliet November, and we're going to be flying down to Seattle, Kilo Sierra Echo Alpha. We're basically going to be following what's called the inside passage. So we're loading up all our cargo. Well, we're ready to load it. I haven't handed all the figures in yet. But in the meantime, here we are sitting at, like I said, at Juneau Freeware Airport, the unloadable. I know it's winter time up there now this time of the year, but I didn't feel like putting in the snow. I had some fun games here before. When I loaded the aircraft in, it was sitting back quite a bit, right back there for some reason. And this chap here was just looking at me with these wands, is that what they call them? And I thought, well, I should be in closer, so I use a plug-in program up here called Slew Mode. And you can see you can move the aircraft left, right, forward, backwards, up or down. I noticed that when you actually activate it, it lifts up the front wheel there. But it brought me forward, and as I was coming forward with it, he started waving, guiding me in. So as soon as I hit this button here and the aircraft dropped down, the air bridge came over, so that's an odd way of fixing it, but it worked. Okay, let's start the ball rolling inside the aircraft and start going through our procedures, of course. Make sure the parking brake is on, which it is. Up here, and we've got to turn our battery on. Two clicks. Position light comes on straight away. Emergency lights come on. No smoking. I'm going to put the seat belts on after the passengers are loaded. I know that this particular checklist I'm using says put it on later, but I don't agree with that. Okay, so we've got power on, and we'll now get our GPU up. Request it. Go up top here, and we put on our power. I know the start pump comes on next, and we start up our APU, and that needle will start moving around. And while that's all happening, I'm going to get all our fuel cargo passengers loaded. Excuse me. I work in pounds, and SimBrief have given me all the details, block fuel, in this case it's a 25694 into that. Total payload 39600, and we need to load our trip fuel, which is 14088. Okay, we look down here just to make sure that we haven't exceeded our maximum landing weight, and we cleared it okay. So we'll start loading the fuel, and I'll expedite it because it takes a while. See, for example, passengers are going to take 9 minutes, so everything's expedited there. Right, so that I'll get that out of the way. The APU's on. We've got to feed it some fuel from the tanks. What I might do very quickly at this stage is just go up and test our ground proximity warning.
Glide slope. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up. Sink rate. Glide slope.
And wind shear test. Okay, so that's done. Okay, now that the APU is running, we use that power. Sorry, that one up there. And we can dismiss our GPU and flick off these buses here. HP bleed, both of them come on. Galley come on. Anti-fog and anti-icing, windscreen icing. Do our alignments. 1, 2, 1, 2. Make sure our yaw damper is on. Our Radio Shack Venturi fan comes on. Our cabin pressure is going to be automatically adjusted, but what we can do is in temperature selector over to cabin. Now we've got to do our altimeter, get this out of the way. Get some lighting on our instruments. And the FMC as well. Okay. Bring down Avi tab. Our airport. Papa Alpha Juliet November. And we've got our Q&A cheer. Let's just make a note too of that wind. They're variable at 3 knots, so basically that means you can be using either runway. This is only single runway, so I'll just make a note variable at 3 knots. And QNH is 29052. I'll come back to this after. Now it's going to go down to 2952, and what I've found is that Betty doesn't like it if you go down too far. So we might have to come back to that. Oh, what's that wrong one? It's decision height. Okay, let's see what happens. Only a couple off. I'll come back to that and adjust it later. Very odd. Fuel reset button we better push. Where's that? There. And our hydraulic pumps have got to be set to low. And our transponder to standby. I'll leave it on 2000. ATC could come on, but I don't think so. Look at this guy here. He's really got a... Is he trying to do some moonwalking? Okay, now we've done all that. Now comes the time to enter the FMC. Clear that away. Juliet, November. And our destination, of course, KSEA. Kilo Sierra Echo Alpha. Activate. Company routed from SimBrief is already in. I enter that and make sure this doesn't jump out. It does sometimes. See what happens this time. Ah, it stayed in. Good. Activate. We'll put in a flight number. It's actually for Alaska is Alpha Sierra Alpha, and we're going to put in 60. That is a genuine route from Juneau to Seattle. The only thing, it's not done with it's not flown with an MD-80. It's actually a 737-800. All right. No, we can't execute it because we're not aligned yet. But what we can do is we can go over to PAJN, and because we've already loaded everything, we just have to push these buttons. I'm reserving 3 on this. Our cost index will be 25. Our flight level is 330. Now let's see whether it'll take that. No, I knew it was going to do that, so we're going to change that. We're going to go to 310. Now I got my cruise wind for 330, but I'm not going to worry about a few degrees. Top of climb, temperature was minus 55 degrees. Transition height to 18, of course. Now, takeoff, outside temperature. Could have got that before, but from that airport information, but it's anyhow. Oh, look at that, it's -2. Wow. -2. Well, it is winter. Look at the flex on that 1 degrees. Right, I've got to put in my these speeds, and I use the rotate chart to do that. Here's our gross weight, 143.3. 143. Okay, flaps. I'll be using flaps 11, so V1's 141. VR 145. V2 153. Anyway, I'm going to flex. So up here we go. Just bring it back so I can see. Here we are. Oh, what am I doing? That one there. Come on. Okay, I'm going to flex up, say 40. At least 40. 45 maybe. And of course what we've got to do, when we drop down a bit, this has got to come off. Come down a bit further. That's our automatic reverse thrust. If we're using flex, we've got to take that off. Okay, now we're getting along. We've our alignments come through, so we can execute. Start thinking about departure. Have your tap. Just before I do that though, I'll flick this over to legs. So here's our waypoints, doozy, guesty, and let's see. Departures, Juno 5 departure. Well, I know that SimBrief have given me a runway 26 is the recommended. Let's have a look at that a bit closer. Yeah, that's a runway 5 departure though. I don't want that one. Let's try this one. Okay, let's have a look at our sort of the airport. Oh, runway 26, there we go. We're here, so recommended is 26, so let's go back and have a look at these. Where did I get 5? Oh, the Juno 5 departure, okay, alright. Looks like Barlow's the way out. Let's have a look while we've got it here. We'll have a look at our departures. There, 26. That was a sort. Was one of our execute it. Then we go over to Barlow, and then down to Sisters 1, Sister Island Elephant. Doesn't go out far enough. Okay, just out of the way for the moment, and I'll do mode. Don't know what that is, but have a look, step through it. It didn't join up to the, oh hang on, there's a disco there, that's why. Let's have a look, LVD doozy, let's just drop the LVD, well no, it's not that one. That's LVD there, enter there, hit the execute. Should have looked at that before, previous. Go back again, now let's have a look. Start from scratch, eh? There we go. And around we go. That looks good. Done. Okay, that's all finished. I mess up something with us, hit the wrong button. Uh-oh. Hope it's back again. Accidentally hit the OBS stop streaming. I think it should be alright. Yeah, it looks like it's still there. Let's get back to the systems. We've got to put on our APU bleed. One of these bleeds here's come off. Sorry, that was the APU bleed air. This is the HP bleed. That had to come off. Our cross valves now go on. Okay. Next thing we should do is close all our doors, which means we've loaded all our cargo anyway, so all these fellows can go. Go up here and tell them all to drive away. If I remember right, this guy just goes around and around in circles, so I'm going to get rid of him. Let's just hide him, see if he goes. There we are, he's gone. So now we can close all our doors. Forward door, cargo doors. Done. Alright, so back to what we were doing. The doors are done. The next thing is the galley goes off. All these pumps come on, and because I would imagine there's going to be fuel in the centre tank, which there is. Flick him on, both those on. Make sure both these are off now. And we go down and put our transfers on here. Let's go to our flight director. Both of those come on. And maximum bank angles should be set to 15. Our runway heading. Missed it. Okay, runway 26 is 265. Departure altitude, let's just set that at 10,000. And we're going to set our speed at 250. I'll get there yet. Hang on. There we are. Master caution can go off. Now I'm going to put on the seatbelt sign, and we're going to call for pushback, and we're going down in that direction all the way down to runway 26, so that's tail will be coming back over that way. And I'll better push back. Alright, where can we go? Well, we don't have far to go by the look of it. Go to there, eh?
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Right, so while that's happening, we can do our long trim. So we've got a centre of gravity here of 7. So bring that across here. Flick this up to 7. And we're going for a flaps 11. So we've got between 7 and 8 for the long trim, so we bring that down.
Stabilizer motion.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
And that looks pretty even here. Those two got to match up perfectly. Alright, we'll go over and set this to 11. And that's our long trims done. Now what we can also do is we're going to check our zero fuel weight against gross weight, and to do that it's 118103.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Done. Okay, I'll just put this over ready to go. I'm going to release the brake.
Starting for start. And you may start engine.
And wait for that air bridge to clear. And we should see N2 rising, which it is on the left engine, up to 2021. Coming up now nicely. Should see this rising here. We'll put on our EPM limiter while we're here. We should hear the bus kick in up here. There we go. So our next engine. That's the start valve open. Again, wait for this side to come up to 2021. Here's our 20.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Okay, our buses should kick in up here. There we go. So this comes off. These two come off. The APE bleed goes off. APE can go off. You put our galley back on again. Ice protect meter to captain. Hydraulic pumps go too high.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Okay, let's do our check there for our controls. Next thing we do is put this fellow on the dim. And we run our timer. Our weather radar comes on now too before we go. Our transponder goes to TARA. And this goes to above, beyond the auto brake. And we should be ready to taxi. And this is our chance to make sure that we've got our long trim correct. Better bring up the baby tab so we know where we're going. So really it's going to be here all the way down, looks like alpha runway all the way down, so probably don't need that. Let's have a look outside. Look out, van. Now we can test our long trim to see if it's okay. I'll just speed the throttles up, and if it's incorrect, yep, she says it's incorrect. So there you go. You've got to get this thing dead on. So how far am I out? It looks pretty well set perfectly between 7 and 8. Let's try it again. Yep.
Flat. Stabilizer.
Let's try it again.
Lab.
No, you see,
Flat.
that should be perfectly right.
Lab. Flat.
Can't figure that.
Lab.
It's definitely spot on.
Lab. Flat. Lab.
Yep.
Flat.
Now I don't think it's anything to do with this. I'll just arm that and see what happens.
Lab.
Nope.
Flat.
There should be no reason why that's the way it is, but what I will do, of course, is this shouldn't have any effect on it. This should go back to 2952.
left,
Yeah, I'm not going to
left,
worry about Betty today. I just can't for the life of me see where that's wrong. Did everything by the book, but very odd that. Ignition switch comes over to on. It's very odd. Yeah, everything was set properly there. You know what? I didn't set the flaps. There you go. Now let's see what happens. Oh no, she still doesn't like it. Is there no pleasing this lady? Or maybe because it is a little bit out there, so let's try that. Now surely that's spot on now. There you go. That's how accurate you've got to get it. But she picked up the fact it's very hard to understand what she says there, but she probably was saying flaps. And there you go. So I owe her a big kiss and a big apology. Well, I'll give her an apology, but I won't give her a kiss. So that goes to flex there. Which just goes to show you that you've got to pretty well follow the checklist exactly, because miss one thing and it upsets the whole balance of things.
Approaching 2-6.
The cockpit's gone a bit dark on me again.
On runway 26.
So we'll just get some light here. And we'll now boost up our N1 to 40. Line it up properly. Hit toga. Throttles forward. So airspeed is alive. That's 80 knots. That's V1. Rotate. And positive rate. Gear up. Keep that nose down a bit. Make sure we're not going to hit any trees. And just bring it back over a bit. Follow that course. So nav track, autopilot on. And we may as well go VNAV. Check our annunciator, climbing. That should go over to climb. So EPR climb up to 10,000, nav track on. Our VNAV didn't come on, so let's try that again. Now we're right. Okay, flaps are all the way up. Make sure we're following our track. We don't need the auto brake selector anymore. We don't need our ignition switch anymore. We retract our speed brake. And our hydraulic transfers can come off. Turn that down a bit. Good. I bet you that outside temperature's rising pretty quick. Yep, up to -5. I might just play it safe. Make sure our flaps are all the way up, which they are. We're up to 250 knots now. Climbing at a rate of 3,200 feet a minute, so she climbs. And we may as well lift our up to our cruising height, which was, remember, 331. Oh, sorry, 310. So we're coming up 10,000 feet. We can turn these things off. Just watching that outside temperature there. Yeah, it went rapidly to -12. Now we're out of the fog. Okay, there's that automatic reverse ART. I get that back to normal. Automatic thrust reverse. That's it. Climbing at a steady rate now, 2,500 feet a minute. Check our course, legs. Yeah, we are already heading off down along the Alaskan coast, or what they call the Inside Passage. Obviously we've got to do a turn down though, which is coming up pretty soon. Be quite a steep turn back down that way. I think there's Prince Rupert Sound, is it? There's Ketchikan, Sitka, and there's Juneau.
Altimeter setting.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Was that Betty or not? I'm not sure. So we should be making the turn about now. Here we go. Now look at that. Well, that's certainly got the dirty look about it, hasn't it? Got a bit of heat coming out of the front of the engine there, look at that. Nearly up to the top of climb. I think I might be able to turn those lights back off again now. Yep. Time for some refreshments. That was all default scenery, by the way. G'day Black Knight, how are you? Not sure about the MD aircraft, but I was under the impression that Bitch and Betty was the GPWS. Any other oral warnings were for military aircraft. She caught me out this time. Outside temperature -23 Celsius. Just about up to 310. There we go. Easing off throttles, leveling out. And we can flick this over to cruise. And back to normal for our transponder direction. Engine sync can go either N1 or N2. So we've been an hour already. Let's have a look. So we have quite a way to go. 633 nautical miles to top of descent. 742 to Seattle. Tailwind we've got 044 knots down there. Got a crosswind here by the look of it of 9 knots. So plenty of time to sit back and relax. It'll be interesting, Black Knight will be interesting to see what happens with the MD-11 when rotate, bring it out to see how it compares with this one. I know people say it's totally different as far as the cockpit layout is concerned, but I'm just wondering whether it would require as much work as this one. And if I remember too, I think years ago, before they upgraded a lot of the cockpit, I think it was there was an engineer on board, 3 crew. Certainly looks like it could use a wash, doesn't it? Look at all of this. I'm assuming that's dirt and not oil. Maybe it is oil. Should move that out of the way. If the just let me know, Black Knight, if the sound's okay, engine noise, etc. Won't be long before we're going to have to switch off that centre tank, or centre tanks, plural. I'm pretty certain there's more than one. Yep, an aft and a forward. Yeah, really chews through the juice, this girl, doesn't she? Wow, boy. Here's our fuel flow here, look at it. That's 355 by 10. Just reading your comment here, Black Knight, it's very different. The MD-11 is, as with most of modern airlines, is flown by the FMC. Yep. The DC-10s did have the flight engineer, alright? Yep. And you're happy with the sound volume? Yeah, I seem to recall the L1011 that had an engineer, because I remember once when we were over in the States and we got on at who did we get on? Could have been at Atlanta. We just happened to be in the little bus taking us to the aircraft. The pilot, first officer and the engineer were there, and I got to talking to them. And one thing I remember about that aircraft, which was Delta, when you went down to the rear of the aircraft where the three engines were mounted, boy, was there some rattling going on there. Had a lot of noise. Yeah, and with the MD-11, I've watched a couple of real-world flights, and I did notice that they had the glass cockpit as such, and I did get a chance to have a look at the overhead panelling. It certainly did look different. Chat, hello Billy, okay, how are you? You would have got my little message there before. So welcome to my stream. Now, like I mentioned, this is a fairly long flight. I think, what did I work it out? It was about 2.5 hours, I think. Might just pop up out of that sim brief, eh? Yeah, block time's 233, so 2.5 hours. Actual air time's 2. and we've already been just over an hour. It's got about an hour and a half. Just reading Black Knight, the MD-10 removed the flight engineer right well with all of that drag caused by the dirt. 1011 did indeed, only on it once from JFK to MIA to Miami. Peel, you should be working this morning, should you? What do you mean, your normal job, or working on that flight plan? Oh right, yes, you've been playing around with that, yeah, to try and raise your frames. You can probably see from this, I'm getting what, 28, 29. The MD-80 is not too bad on frames compared to the Zebo. The Zebo really gives me a hiding when it comes to frames. And because I've got an AMD CPU, I'm hoping that Vulcan lives up to what it's supposed to do. And even if I get a 5-10% lift in frame rates, that certainly would be a big help. But I won't hold my breath. Now, Black Knight, you could probably just confirm this. The Lockheed TriStar, was that the DC-10? Gee, at 17 to 35, yeah. If you can get the frames to settle in at 20. Look, even if they drop below the 20, and we're on VATSIM, as long as it doesn't stay below 20 for long, I think, is it 30 seconds or something like that? I'm just curious, Billy, did you try one of those legs in the Cessna like I suggested to see whether it was whether the frame rates were better than Robin? So the TriStar was the 1011, yeah. Actually, one thing I do remember about the L1011, it had the smallest overhead lockers you could ever imagine. Billy says, do you know if the ortho for XP at zoom level 17 is worse than zoom level 16 or no difference? you know, I don't think you'll see a lot of difference in the two. All it basically means is that zoom level 17, if you download it at zoom level 17, it's going to be a bigger file. Takes up more room on your hard drive. I don't know whether you really perceive much difference in the actual scenery. I use 17 practically all the time, but I know that I think XP72, I think he uses 16, and so do a lot of other guys. Black Knight, I've just put up the Avitab weather for Seattle. And basically it's just looking at its winds are from 240 at 11 knots, gusting 19. You got some broken cloud at 9 and it looks like at 15,000. The Q&A is 3018. I'm just wondering whether you could throw up ATIS for that you've got. Usually it's different from what I've got. Thank you for that, sir. Let's have a look how that compares. It's got 040 at 9 knots. It's a bit better, isn't it? That's a different direction. 10 station miles clear, 04 3018. Well, the Q&H matches anyway. So I'll go by yours. So 040. 9 knots. Okay, let's have a look. I must admit, I've never landed at Seattle before, and I'm not even sure whether I've even got any freeware for it. I should have looked it up before I did this stream. Okay, so 040 is going to be coming from this direction, so it's a bit of a slight crosswind. Simbrief gave me runway 34 right, which I don't think makes sense. I'm going to be coming down from here, so I think there's no reason why I can't use 34 left, which will bring me down and around. So let's just have a look at our points here. This is our last here. The Dugs and YYJ. Okay. Let's go back. And look at all these arrivals. Come back. I'm going to look at this Hawks one. I've seen this before and I've flown into Vancouver. Oh, look at all of that. Somewhere down there, there's a runway. So there's Hawks. There's our runway in here. It's a busy old airport, isn't it? Trying to sort that one out. Oh boy. I just might see what the arrival is like. Sorry, approach. What did I say? 34 left. There's ILS runway 34 left there. Oh, damn it. Where did it go? Lost it. That's a Cat 2. Doesn't want to load. Come on. What are you doing? 34 left, Cat 2. Well, that should be a Cat. Yeah, you should be able to do a Cat 2. There we go. Okay, we know what we're looking at there, so. There we go, ILS 34 left. And transition this Sonda there. Which way do I come in? I think I had the Mana 7 recommendation in. It's in brief. So we'll flick him in And we've got a transition here at Sonder. Execute. Lex. Okay, let's go and have a look at our, get him out of the way for the moment. Yeah, Pilly, that's not unusual. If you look at mine now, 29, 28, and if I go outside, see it's bumping up, look. It's going up 35, 34. See, and it's even, sometimes it peaks at 40. Yeah, it's all to do with scenery. You see 31, go back inside, and it stays like that, but then it's all the fun and games of frame rates, isn't it? Anyway, back to the... Okay, let's have a look at this. There's a holding point, and then we go down, down, down. Be a nice turn here in a minute. Oh, looks like we've got a vector there. There's our vector, Victor. Yeah, I think it won't want to do anything here. We'll try that again. No, because it's got that vector. That's okay. We'll take it down until we reach the vector. And that's a missed approach by the look of it. Back up to the holding point. Let's have a look at that again. I'll execute that, by the way. Let's go down again. It should be a straight vector. And then it comes back to Sonder. That's okay. Then Hipro, Josta, and then down to runway 34 left. Okay. Let's have a look and see where our... Oh, still 430 to go. Yeah, I said it was going to be a long flight. Yeah, once we get onto the vectors, we can activate Sonder, and that'll take us in. Alright, so we know where we stand there. Probably going to get rid of a lot of this stuff. Clean it up. Yeah, so there's the runways there. I don't know what this is. This looks like a southern approach and a vector back down there, so that one would have been useless. Oh, that's our have a look at this one. Yep, that would have been, there we go, that's our proper arrival. We would have been coming from let's have a look at it. I'm just curious, that's all. See if I recognise any of these waypoints. There we go. There's Yankee Yankee Juliet. So we would have been from Doug's to Yankee Yankee Juliet, then down to Marder. To here. So okay, this AUKUS and Jigab are in between. There's our Mana. Then down to Vegan. And then here's our unit, Woobert. Now it does the vectors from there. Okay. So we can retain that one. We'll need this. If I land here at runway 34 left, I've got a nice bit of taxiing to do. Okay, let's have a look. It looks like at 5,000 at Hipro down to 4,000 at Josta. Yep, 4,000 and above, Hipro, 5,000 or above. Jalon, 2,400, that's the approach fix there. Now we've got to do an ugly go around, missed approach. Yeah, I think it was showed here before, so it's going to go over that direction. Climb 900 feet, then climb left, turn heading 300 degrees outbound on the SEA VOR, radial 310, cross Wex sub, DME 10, SEA radar above 3, climb to 5. Okay, then in the whole pattern. Transition level at 180 and our airport elevation is 433 feet, so let's not muck around. Let's 400. 433, I can only do this in increments of 10. Oh no, there we go, that's probably about it. So, where am I? I'll do this. And our approach ref, it's a VREF 28 degrees of flap, which is what I like. And it's 138 knots plus 5. There's 143, which is spot on. You've got a frequency of 110.75, and our course is 344. Come back to you in a minute. Okay, 11075. And it was 344. Done. Okay, next thing, bring him back up again. Over tap. Let's have a look at our decision height. Category 2. Got decision height at 479. Barrow. About it. We can put in the radio altitude, but I'm not going to bother. We've got the Barrow, but that'll do us. To that 400. Now let's see our map. Well past Ketchikan, I'd say, yep. Vancouver down there, Everett there, Seattle there. Well on our way. So we should first appear up here eventually. I'll bet you I'm out of, yep, probably got a warning up here. Yep, there it is. Off he goes. $347. G'day, how are you? No, Tam. 06. That's a good tag, no Tam. Welcome to the stream. is it that flight deck goes dark again. And just under here, that's what you brighten up your MCP with. There we go. And down here, it's probably already, yep, it's up. Oh, yep. So we're just over an hour and about 40 minutes. I forgot to put my overlay up, unfortunately. Maybe I could do that. How can I do that? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'll bring it across. There we go. I don't know why it is, but CJ put me onto this Fly Live overlay, but it always puts a Boeing 738 in there for some reason. It doesn't recognise any other aircraft. And what we do here is put our info in. If I hit the OK button, and if I do that, and if I go to this one, oh, Captain Burger, it's you. I didn't realise you'd change your tag. So again, thanks for joining. I don't usually get too many people in the chat this time of night. Well, it's when I say this time of night, it's 8:45 where I am, and it's 6:45 on the east coast of the United States. Is that right? And UTC is 10:43 a.m. So I think Peely probably would tell me that it's would it be 7:45 in the UK? see how far now. They're showing top of descent already. That's not too bad. We're getting there. Okay, what's happened here? Ooh, that frame rate took a big hit then. Oh yes. No. Oh, sorry. I thought for a minute you asked whether we're on VATSIM. No. You're on UTC at the moment. All right. So that means, according to my Windows clock, that's 10:45 a.m. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yep. Well, in Australia at the moment, New South Wales and Victoria are on daylight saving time. But here in Queensland, we never changed over. And the theory being that because we're so close to the equator, and you know, we've got plenty of daylight, they just didn't see the point. They've had at least 2 votes on it, and each time they asked the population what they wanted, they'd say, no, we don't want it. So that means that while it's, what did I say it was here? 8:46 p.m. In Sydney, it's 9:46 p.m. So when you travel south to Brisbane and you travel another 100 miles or so to the New South Wales border, as soon as you go across, you've got to set your clock. But I know that daylight saving is a big thing in the UK. Fair enough. Your summers are long and your winters are short. Or is it the other way around? Now, I know there's been enough talk in the news about this virus, but I shouldn't be laughing, but my daughter and her friend, she'd actually planned to go to Bali in Indonesia. So there was to be herself and 3 others, all girls just getting together, have a bit of a holiday for about, I think it was about 12 days, something like that. So they talked about it and discussed it, and in the end, the 2 of the other 3 decided to pull out because they were obviously worried. They had kids at home. Even though they had partners looking after them, they decided, no, this is all too risky. Go to Bali, wouldn't be nice to get the virus. So for a moment there, nobody was going. Then my daughter come back to me and said, well, I'm going with one of the other girls who decided she would go. Now, I didn't think it was a good idea, but she's old enough. And she left last Thursday. So we get a phone call yesterday to say, look, we think we better come home already because, the way things are going with different countries closing their borders, we just heard that New Zealand closed its borders. Nobody can come into the country unless they're prepared to self-isolate. So about 2 hours later after she rang us, sure enough, Prime Minister of Australia announced that same thing for Australia. So now what's going to happen is she and her girlfriend managed to book a flight back to Cairns, and they'll be arriving tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. our time, and she's got to go in for 2 weeks self-isolation at home. So father knows best, but it's going to mess her up. She's got a little business that she runs by herself, so she's going to miss out on at least, well, not quite 2 weeks, because she was having a holiday for 12 days, but. And there's much confusion going on in the country about, well, what happens when you arrive back at the airport. Theoretically, I believe they're supposed to take temperatures to see that you're not running a fever. And if you're running a fever, then they'd probably send you off to some place to get a test or something like that. But just reading from the reports, that's not happening. So when she arrives home tomorrow night, she can't stop in our house. She's got to go straight home. And I must admit, this whole bloody thing's a mess, isn't it? Black Knight, what I meant was that during summertime with your daylight saving, my experience when I first arrived in London was the sun was still up at 9 o'clock, which is something I'd never been through in all my years. I'd never seen the sun still up in the sky at 9 o'clock, or round about 9. And the very first day I arrived in London with my wife, we booked into a hotel for that first night, and then we went to Hyde Park and we were laying down on the grass looking at the blue sky, and it was about, I think it was about 9 o'clock at night. Just couldn't get over that. But then again, during the winter time, at 4 o'clock it was dark. Yeah, and I can also remember looking at the sky some days in London and 4 seasons in a day. Get close to the top of the centre, are we? Let's have a look. No. 222. Finally knocking the miles off. And the years, we spent 3 years in the UK, travelling around down on the continent. And the winters back then weren't viciously cold. I know every once in a while you have one of these really nasty seasons where everything's snowed under. But there was only, I think, 1 or 2 occasions where snow actually fell in London. And my understanding was that, from what the guys I knew over there told me, was that the heat of the city basically stopped a lot of the snow from falling. But on one particular occasion, it was about 9 o'clock at night, and we're just about ready to go to bed, and I looked out the window and there was actually snow coming down. And of course, I had seen snow before on the ground, but old snow, almost ice. And this was the first time I'd ever seen snow coming down, actually falling from the sky. So it's quite a novelty for an Australian. Well, not every Australian, but for me it was. So we went outside and ran up and down like idiots. But then I learnt the next day when we were walking to work that the snow had turned to sludge on the footpaths. It was about 3 inches deep, and of course it was all dirty and grubby. And my colleagues at the time used to say, well, now you know why we hate snow. Time for another snack for me. You're right about, Pelly, you're right about that money they spend. Not unusual for them to, for the Weather Bureau here, called, it's BOM, B-O-M, Bureau of Meteorology. We call it the BOM. Sometimes they can predict 4 or 5 cyclones for the summer season, and more often than not, nothing turns up. All their predictions for cyclones are based on El Nino. The El Nino effect. It's all, I don't know if you've ever heard about it over there, but it's all to do with the temperature of the water. The temperature at the top of the water. So if the ocean currents are flowing from west to east, or from east to west, or something like that, and if the temperature is above a certain degree, then theoretically the cyclones can form. So you get the El Nino, and then the El Nina. But don't ask me to explain the difference between the two. All I know is I've been through quite a few cyclones over the years. And after a while, you learn how to cope. We course at the moment. 119 degrees we're at. That should line things up. There we go. In a crosswind here at 55 knots. Maldives. I usually know my geography, but is that in the Indian Ocean down below Sri Lanka? Yeah, look at that crosswind. Oh, jeez. Oh, that is self-isolation, isn't it? Nothing on it. I mean, surely they have food. Gucci Putter, welcome to the stream. And no, this is not the MD-11. It's the MD-80. Oh, I see what you mean. Why did I put in MD-11? I better edit that. I think I can edit it. I must have had something on my mind there. Glad you picked that up. Yeah, Black Knight, he picked up the fact that my title said the MD-11. I don't know why I was thinking of the MD-11 at the time. I fixed it up now. Thanks for that, mate. It would have been interesting, wouldn't it, if it would have been the rotate MD-11. Everybody would be watching the stream. Wouldn't it be nice if you could get your hands on the MD-11 2 weeks before it was officially released, so that you could jump on a stream and brag about the fact that you've got the MD-11. So, Pilly, what would they do there for 2 weeks? Would it be, what, 2 weeks? What would you do there? Just swim, snorkel, eat plenty of fruit, coconuts, bananas, whatever? Well, I see that, is it United Airlines? They're grounding all of their wide-body jets. Not all of them, but I think about 80% of them, because of the loss of cross-Atlantic flights. So a lot of their air crew are going to be put on some type of leave. Is it Delta's already grounded? Is it 300 aircraft? And yeah, Black Knight, just talking about the 747, did I hear also that KLM are retiring the last of theirs? Probably spurred on by this coronavirus thing. But I'm betting that in the next within the month, I think you're going to see quite a number of these budget airlines suddenly file for bankruptcy or just announce that they're giving it away. The other thing I saw too is that virtually all the cruise liners are just going to be laid up. In fact, there's one very large cruise liner from I think it's an Italian boat, and it's arrived in the southern waters here, and it was I don't know how long they were cruising around for, but they tried to pull into Hobart in Tasmania, and they were told, nah, sorry, you can't come here. Then they went over to New Zealand. I forget where they were supposed to pull up there. No, you can't come here. Nobody can come ashore. Sorry. Sail away. They're supposed to be coming over to where I live, Cairns, North Queensland. And I think they're going to get the same treatment. So, what do these people do if they're sick? If, say, coronavirus is on the ship, what happens? They can't come ashore. Nobody wants them. It was a bit like that, the Diamond Princess, wasn't it, up near Japan? So what does the ship do? Where does it go to? Does it sail back to its home port and say, everybody, get off? Yeah, Peely, British Airways by 75%. Jeez. I mean, this has got to have a huge effect. Do they keep paying their staff, all their employees? See how we're going. What's happened here? What's happening here, I wonder? Why am I getting this? I hope this thing's not about to crash on me. Oh, it doesn't look good. Why did it do that? Uh-oh. I think X-Planes had a hissy fit. Whoa. Fixed itself. Oh, that was lucky, wasn't it? Oh, brother. I wonder what caused that. I wonder if it was our old friend Microsoft doing some behind the scenes fiddling with updates or something. It's back again now for the moment. I wonder, it's, look at that, looks like some sort of a scenery glitch. I wonder if that's what caused it. Could have had something to do with it. It might be a good idea when we get past that. You're asking me if I got any Irish blood. I don't think so. I can tell you one thing, I don't have any convict blood in me. And I know a lot of people get the impression that everybody in Australia was descendants of the convicts, which isn't true. When Australia was first settled in 1788, I forget the numbers, but yes, except for crews on the ships, on the fleet that brought everybody out, and soldiers who were guarding them, everyone else was a convict. And then they established the colony down in Botany Bay. And then later on, more ships arrived with more convicts. And then after, when the colony was considered to be self-sufficient, and yes, you know, land was available, and you know, they wanted to encourage settlement, that's when a lot of settlers came out from the UK, Ireland as well, yep, but mainly the UK. So my ancestors are those people, not convicts. But the funny thing about it is it's considered to be a bit of a plus if one of your ancestors was a convict. So you look at that strange scenery there, look at that. Gee, Black Knight, that doesn't sound good, isn't it? When they say let go, meaning no wages, no salaries, nothing. Peely says, I must have the luck of the Irish because it didn't crash. Man, please don't talk too soon. I might feel a little bit happier when we get over this strange looking scenery, because I think that had something to do with it. It was trying to load, I assume, it was trying to load the scenery that was coming up, and this is what it got. I'll be happy when we pass over it. Oh, it's just gone. There we go. Look, see, disappeared. I reckon. Oh, we got more in front. Oh, jeez. And look at my frames, 22. I think I'd just let things lie in the cabin here and not move around too much. What we can do is, hello, we can just toggle the map, and see where we are without looking outside. Near 24 frames a second. It's not the best. Where are we? Oh. Okay, so there's Seattle. So we've got to be up here somewhere. There we are. Getting very close now, aren't we? Seattle down here. Okay, good. We should start to appear here sooner or later. Top of descent's coming up now at 40. Put that down at our approach. Yeah, Black Knight, can you stick up that ATIS again just to see whether there's been any change in that QNH? Getting close now. 15 nautical miles to Yankee Juliet. Speed will be max decimal 759. And we'll be down to 270, 270, 250, 230 at 10,000 or above. Woobit will be 8,000 above. No, it'll be coming right down, 766 for our vectors. 65 for 210. Next page. Let's try that again. Yeah, from Woobit down to 210. Going to be doing quite a few waypoints at 210. There goes those frames again. Yep. Loading a scenery package, alright? He's tending to struggle a bit tonight. 20. Here we are, starting to appear on our arrivals page. Any minute now. Two hours 27, is that 2.5 hours? And we're still not quite on top of descent. So this is going to easily be a 3-hour flight, I'd say. I think, if I'm right, over there in the distance. That's that big mountain south of Seattle. I think it's Mount McKinley, but I may be wrong. And here we go. Okay, over to descent, hit the climb button. Transponder mode can go to below, and assuming that that QNH is still 3018. Put it on the 302 is close enough. And we can get rid of the engine sync. Just out of interest, do you clean the temp garbage files from your Windows directory at all? Yeah, I do from time to time, yep. And also, do you allow Windows Update at its discretion? Yeah, unfortunately I do. I know FTP Forgotten the Passages, and I used to talk about this and about what Windows is up to with updates. I only just recently changed it over from Windows 7 to 10 with the help of FTP. He was pretty good with it. I think if I remember right, you can actually program it, can't you, to only accept updates on it whenever you want or something. Yeah, with the clean up, I usually clean out the garbage bin as well. Oh, I just wonder, that's that holding point there coming up. Actually, Black Knight, I used to do all those things religiously, but probably getting a bit slack these days with it. Black Knight, not a word. And Dougal McTavish and I were talking about it, and he actually contacted him on, is it Reddit or one of those? One of those, anyway. And, he just inquired as to whether he was okay. And FTP just basically said, well, apart from some problems, which obviously didn't want to go into, he'd had enough of flight simming for a while. Which, quite surprised me, because I used to talk to him quite a lot online. Even on Discord voice. I used to talk about all sorts of things, and he was always, ready there to help you. So I know he was into Formula One gaming, and maybe he just decided that was where his thing was, and he cancelled all his Discord contacts, and like I said, Dougal was quite surprised as well. But like Dougal said to me, if that's his choice, what can you do? And he knew his stuff with shared cockpit. He was really good. What I might do is, where are we here? So our course in is going to be 344. That'll be the runway heading for sure, I would imagine. Here we are, look at our arrival here. We're coming down. Yep, 344, and I think turn to 300. Yep. So missed approach. We wouldn't be flying that runway heading for too long. We'd have to be swinging over to 300 degrees pretty well straight away. Just looking at this end of the runway, and over we go. And obviously all the way over here, see, 300, 310 over to the holding point. But I'm feeling optimistic.
Altimeter setting.
Okay, I heard you. Three zero zero 3018. Oh, what am I doing? This one. There we go. Yeah, Black Knight, he just cut all ties with everybody. Okay, 250, we're down to 250, coming down now. What I might do is get our bums on seats. Now we should be somewhere downwind of that that runway soon. Probably a bit too high to see anything through this mist. Yeah, there's those big mountains. I seem to recall that if you fly out of Seattle down to San Francisco and Los Angeles, you fly pretty close to that one, or over it. Now we should see some action with the speed dropping off. Not until another 10 nautical miles. Let's have a look at our outside temperatures now, -5, so we can turn these fellas off. We should be making a slight turn to the right. dare I look outside? Hope the foam rates don't go berserk again. Where's Seattle? A lot of lakes and things around, aren't there? Eh? What's that over there? Is that it over there? Am I flying over it? Hello, I think there's the runways there. Certainly looks like it. Okay, see speed drop off now? Yep, it's coming down. Should be down to 230 knots in a minute. Yeah, getting close. 10,000. Yeah, we've got to do a few things up here. Yeah, ignition switch. And the transfer pumps come on. Beautiful. There's our green banana showing where our 2,400 should be. It'll be beyond that. Okay, speed's going to drop right down very soon to this 210. I won't arm the speed brakes yet. It might need that to slow us down, although we're going to be doing the 210 for quite a while. So even if it doesn't hit 210 there, it should. As we get along a bit further. Very misty outside. It would have been good to be a lot clearer. But down to 220 nearly. I'll put our slats out soon. And this is hard to believe when you see this. You can put your gear down at 300. You can do your slat extensions at 280, then full at 240. You can have flaps 11 down at 280, flaps 15 at 240, and then 2840 at 200. But imagine, I can't bring myself to drop my, to get flaps 11 at 280 knots. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, it's a 210, yeah, speed's coming down. And in fact, I'll let it go a little bit longer. We're going to our vectors now. So we'll let it run out here. I'll take that flap, no, slat out. can let a vector out for a little while. Yeah, see we're down now, we're coming down to 210 now, which is pretty good. We got our slats all the way out. Let's have a look outside. City down below. So we'll just keep ploughing along now at 210. Just holding the speed. I don't think we're going to need our speed brake, so we'll arm her. And let's go for a medium auto brake. Now we're going for a flaps 28 landing. So when we get down to flaps 28, that's when we can arm the auto brake. And it won't allow you to arm it until the flaps are at your landing, whatever your landing setting is. So we're now at flaps 11. And slats fully out. We're now into our Victor. And we're leveling off at 6. The vectors it said 6.5, so we're still okay. So once we get to Sonder, we'll be dropping down to 5. We should be anyway. Okay, let's see what we got here. What I might do is let's increase our bank angle because it looks like it could be a bit of a tight turn. That's another strip down. That is at the Boeing field. Could well be. Alright, I think we could probably go for the turn, eh? Now we should turn. There we go. Speed will start to... No, the speed's going to stay at 210. Should look good from outside, shouldn't it? Beautiful. I think that's Seattle Airport over there. We should see some, about 5 nautical miles, we should see our altitude start to drop. Not far out, are we? That's at 5, that's 10, that's 20, 25 say, 25 out. think what we might do is take over, eh? Now let's push our FMS override. And I'm going to drop the speed back a bit, 185. And I hope we go down soon. Picking up the ILS already. Localizer here. And she doesn't want to drop down to 185. Should see some action soon. 5,000 above, 4,000 above. I think that local ILS is already alive. Look at that. Down she comes. Okay. See if we capture it, eh? Yes. Already now we're dropping down. Look at this. Speed's coming down. Beautiful. So it'll sit on 185. We can until we line up. We're coming down now. Captured the ILS. Glide slope, I mean. We've already got flaps. It should be what, 15? It's 11. We're going down to 15. And then after that should drop all the way down to 28. We're going down, still on course here. Okay, let's start to, yep, we're going to drop our speed even further now. Let's go down to 165, so 175. We're still online for the glide slope. How about we put our gear down before Betty tells us. And that should be runway 34 left here. Still got a little way to go. Okay, so our VREF was 143. So we can already go down to 165. And let's get our flaps all the way down to 28. And now we can arm the auto brake. So, flaps are set, gear is down, landing lights are on, speed brake is armed. Yes. We're on the glide slope. We're down to 165. Already see 2 whites, 2 reds. And we can bring it right down to VREF, eh? Which is 143. You know, Peely, as much as I've tried and as much as I love this aircraft, so damn hard to get a butter. Actually, one of my best landings was, forget when that was, I think, what was it? I think it was about 140 or something like that, minus. It's a very hard aircraft to butter. The trick is you've got to keep the speed, the 143, almost right down to the deck. Because if you pull back on the speed, it just drops like a rock. Yeah, I thought it may have been a bit there, but I was worried Betty was going to have a crack at me. Okay. Wish me luck, guys. Here we go. My aircraft.
1,000.
Approaching 3, 4, left.
I'm not getting any crosswind by the look of it, which is good. Here we go. Better trim the nose down a bit.
500.
Check.
400.
A little bit to the left now. A little bit
300.
low. Is there a dip in that runway?
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Hard landing there. I knew that. Ooh. That wasn't the best, was it? This got a... Boy, has it got some dips in this runway. Yeah, I messed that up Black Knight. I'll get it one day. I bet you if on the replay I'll find that I was too high on the nose. That's the thing with this long aircraft. I mean, is Seattle Airport really this bumpy? And hills and things? Okay, we can turn those off and we can do that. And we can go up here and turn this fellow.
Approaching 1, 6, right.
Start that one up. I believe I've got to turn off a few things here. And we can even turn off the flight directors. And I think we turned this off. She pulled up pretty well though, didn't she? We also have to put our ignition switch off, and we can put this off speed brakes. Let me retract it. Just check outside. Look at this, once I roll backwards. Look at it. That's how steep these hills are. What I'll do though is I'll have a look and see where we can park it. Where are you? Here we are. Oh, that's all right. We just go straight across here. That's all right. Look at this. I got
Lab. Flat. Stabilizer.
Oh, shut up. I've got to get up this hill, Betty. Give me a chance. Look at the hill. Holy cow. That's okay, Black Knight. You're sorry, but I know you really mean it. Is this for real? It's like climbing Mount Everest. Let's face it, Black Knight, if we were all experts, we'd be flying the real thing, wouldn't we? I think I'm going to cross 2 runways here.
Approaching 1-6 center.
Well, Black Knight, you can't insult my landing technique because I've already been insulted by experts.
Approaching 1-6 left.
Yep, nothing coming that way. Nothing coming that way. Well, I hope not anyway. So welcome to Seattle, guys. Yeah, bloody hard landing, I don't know. I've had some good ones, but I've had my share of hard landings. This is pretty certain this is default. I don't have payware for this airport because I don't fly in here often enough to warrant spending the money. Yeah, where the hell do they park these things, eh? Looks like all cargo area here. We'll flip into this inside. We'll flip into this inside taxiway. Continue on down. I suppose we can't really complain about dips and bumps because we're on back in the days of FSX. It was all just flat as a tack. There was no undulating runways or anything like that. It was so easy to come in, and that's where it earned the title as riding the rails. I would imagine P3D's a lot better now. I believe it's got the same thing now. I don't know where the gates are here. Does it have gates? Over there maybe? Oh yep, there we go. Well, we've got some gates here that we can choose, I would imagine. What do we got here? Let's swing in here. Oh, Dougal, g'day. Thanks for dropping in anyway, man. How do I just bring this little baby in somewhere? Am I in line with anything or not? Oh, there it is. Actually, purely I've got that Saab 360, is it? Hang on a minute, I'll just stop her in here. Don't think I've got anybody to guide me in. Let's have a look outside. I think that should be right. Is that the MD-80 spot there? Oh, this'll do. Let's get this fellow on. And we'll do these. And we'll leave that one on. We'll put these off. And parking brake has to do our HP bleeds go off. And close our valves up here. Down here now, auxiliary stuff goes to does it look like the air bridge comes over by itself? Okay. What else have I got to turn off? I know. This one goes off, that one goes off. That's about it. There's two of those Saabs, aren't there? There's the, what is it? The LS. And then there's, what are their names? I used to fly that one quite a lot there when I first got it, but I haven't dragged it out of the hangar much lately at all. Let's just have a look, guys, at that beautiful landing. Let's hope the sim doesn't crash. Oh, that's a good spot to start from, isn't it? Here we go, Black Knight. Well, I was doing all right at that angle. Look at that. That's exactly what I was looking for, but somehow or other. Yeah, see the nose went up then? No, it wasn't that bad, was it? Sometimes I'm not so sure about this indicator, descent rate thing. I'm not so sure about it sometimes. The LES, that's it. Nose is a bit high, off the centre line, but it's okay. Let's have a look at it from the end there. It's going to fiddle around and go to the other runway. Let's see if we can get it to behave itself. No. There we go. Look at the hump in that runway. And down the hill. Look at that. Jeez. Ooh. Okay, we'll do one from the tower, which would, is that going to be any good? It's one of these inside the tower views. Don't think you're going to see much. Where are we? Let's go outside, eh? Where is it? Oh, there we go. Over there. Yeah, it's a fair way from the runway. Not going to see too much there, are we? I know what I'll do.
$300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, it was a bit of a bump. Yeah, it was a bit hard. Oh, look at this rip. I don't know, that thing just... Let's face it, it's probably very hard for someone to program something like that to work properly.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Watch it, boom, oh yeah. But it says here I'm high, so... But at this moment, I don't think there's any jobs around for anybody, is there, with this virus around? I'm just going to have a quick look from here again.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Bang. Oh yeah, there's the nose dropping now, see? Boom. Oh well. Okay, I think that's about it. May as well start packing it up. So that took us 3 hours 15 minutes for that flight. So guys, thanks very much for dropping in. I just checked to make sure I got everybody. That was Black Knight, Peely, UK. I know that No Thames is with Captain Berger, he dropped in. And there was another Gucci Potter. Just looking down the list. And Dougal there at the end, but thanks for dropping in. Anyway guys, thanks very much again for joining me on the stream. So until next time, see you. But while I think about it, Peely, it's 5 minutes away from Betty buys for me, so I won't, when I get up in the morning, I'll have a look at that plan and see how it looks and let you know. So see you guys.